Hello, everyone. It's me, Sam Wesley again, and yeah, we're just gonna be finishing up. Yeah, we're gonna be finishing up chapter 5 of Tsukihime. Unlike last time, where I got a little ahead of myself and couldn't resist playing more into this chapter. We are just gonna be finishing up the Vlov fight, and whatever left is, oh, and if anything, immediately after that to the end of the chapter. But yeah, let's get started. Arcade and I have arrived at the park a little past 9 p.m.
大事なことだからもう一度だけ説明しておこうかな。長く生きた人にはそのあり方を武器にした懲罰能力がある。吸血種に備わった基本的な能力とは別の、その個体が血を飲むことで持ってしまった特別な呪いみたいなものね。ブローブはその域に達している人よ。
Hey, show. Yeah, the game's gaming. Oh yeah, you might occasionally hear something in the background. I got two little kittens now, so occasionally I might have to tell them to stop nibbling on something that they shouldn't be nibbling on.
使徒を倒すということは、その懲罰能力を破るということ。あの炎を消す手段を獲得しない限り、人間に勝ち目はない。だから、私がブローブの呪いを壊すまで、シキはあいつに近づかないでね。
Oh yeah, they are very sweet. They, funny enough, it's actually easier than I thought to take care of them because usually because it helps that they can keep themselves occupied and out of trouble. All right, so our plan is simple. First, Arcoade will lead him here. She told me that vampires can sense one another's location unless they make an effort to conceal their biological wavelength or something. Apparently, Vlov isn't hiding his wavelength at all. Though Arcoade wasn't sure if that was because he doesn't want to or because he can't. Luckily for us, that means she'll know exactly when Vlov approaches us and where from. Normally, Arcoade would hide her wavelength, but right now she's letting it go free, broadcasting her whereabouts and issuing a challenge to Vlov. Oh yeah, it's definitely taking care of those two, at least from my experience at the moment, is shaping up to be easier than when I had, than any than any dog I've had to take care of before. Because at the very least, like the two little kittens, they'll play with each other, keep each other occupied and out of trouble. And I love them. They are absolutely adorable and sweet. Trying to draw him. Oh, that was weird. OBS dropped connection for a sec. Anyway, Arcuid doesn't look nervous at all. If anything, she seemed a little bored as her gaze lingers over empty space. I wish I could be that calm. I grip my knife. I grip my knife tight in my pocket. It's a bit nerve-wracking. There are a lot of uncertainties in this plan. For one, it hinges on Vlov not noticing me while I hide. Arcray told me that the chances of him noticing me were extremely low, but that doesn't mean they're non-existent. If he does notice me, I'll be done for. I'll be burned alive without any recourse, just like he did to so many within the hotel. Even so, I'm fine with those odds. Yeah, for some reason... well, it's definitely better than my connection issues earlier in the year, in which I would drop connection for like 30 minutes and have a stream interrupted for that long. Even so, I'm fine with those odds. I agreed to this plan knowing full well the risks involved. There's just one more major variable. What if Arcuade can't bind Vlov? In other words, what if Vlov manages to beat Arcuade? I'd have to deal with him by myself. It'd come down to me and a single knife to defeat Vlov and save Arcuade. Oh yeah, but I have no idea what caused that. It was just like it was just like weird. It didn't happen on any. It only happened on my desktop, not on my, not on like my laptop or my phone. But hey, things are working now, so I guess I'll never really figure out what happened. Can I even do such a thing? Can I face those flames alone? Just the thought of it makes me tremble. I tighten my grip on the knife, coiling my fingers around the handle so hard it hurts. An implacable fear wells within me. I can't even pin down what I'm afraid of.
怖いのシキ。
Before I realize it, Arcuade is standing right in front of me. How pathetic. My quivering must have gotten pretty bad if she noticed.
ああ、めちゃくちゃ怖い。あの吸血鬼が近づいてくるかと思うだけで泣きたくなる。
んシキ、泣いてないけど。
必死に我慢してんだよ。わかれ、バカ。
She's so bad at reading the mood. I wish she'd have the slightest clue of what I'm feeling. Why is she the one who's looking hurt? Arcuade purses her lips, seemingly dissatisfied with my answer.
ところで、私もその吸血鬼なんだけど。
ああ、知ってるよ。何度も聞いた。
だから、吸血鬼である私が怖くないの？
Simple, you're too cute to be scared. To be scary.
今までのあなたの定義からすると、生き物として嫌悪の対象になると思うんだけど。
え？
I'm a little taken aback by her sudden remark. She's not entirely wrong, but...
なんか、お前は別。だって血を吸ったことないんだろ。ならいい。吸血鬼だろうとなんだろうと、俺たちに手を出さないでいてくれるなら、それでいいんだ。
Yeah, she is a pretty big airhead. That...
なるほど。そういう考えもありなんだ。
Yeah, she's a bit too She's a little too airheaded to be that intimidating, but that's part of why we love her. I guess that convinced her. It's like Arcuade's previous hang-up slid off her like water off a duck's back. Hands on the clock indicate it's now 10 p.m. According to Arcuade, this is when vampires start to get active. He's likely coming up above ground now. I don't know where he's holed up, but we'll notice Arcuade's presence as soon as he wakes, and likely make a beeline for the park.
正気？
Arcuade's demeanor shifts. Her words drip with contempt as she turns away from me, peering north towards the station.
信じられない。あいつ、本当にその一人なの？
I follow her gaze over the horizon. Is that smoke? Thick black smoke curls upward into the night sky. It must be a fire downtown. Wait. A fire?
アルクエイド、あれ、まさか。
ブローブよ。無差別に人を襲ってる。正気が欠けている。なんて甘かった。あいつは死者と変わらない。血が足りなければ目の前の人間から補充する獣だった。文明社会、この時代の人間のルールをまるで把握していない。
The sound of a faraway explosion rings through the air. Smoke surges into the air with newfound intensity. This is bad. If he's moving through the downtown area, then this will be on a whole other scale from the hotel. The number of victims alone would be at least in the thousands.
アルクエイド。
分かってる。急ぎましょう、シキ。
We run for the station. Just what is going on over there? He awakes in agonizing pain. Screams pierced the air. There was a loud grinding noise, like a piece of metal caught in a blender. His cries were horrific, otherworldly, so horrific they even make his minions tremble. He writhes and flails and lashes about, but none of his protests numb the pain enveloping his entire being. The skin at his fingertips splits open and cracks. Acid oozes from his bones, melting and gnawing at his body from the inside out. His heart shrivels and corrodes from the necrosis, only to regenerate again, forcing him to prolong his own suffering. An unending cycle of torment, doomed to last as long as he lives. His only escape would have been death, but even that salvation was stolen from him long ago. I'm guessing this is Vlov. He doesn't remember why he abandoned death. He doesn't remember when it was that death became such a distant concept. All he knows is suffering, cold, pain, heat, fear. His mind is filled with nothing but animalistic screams. He knows that he came to this land in pursuit of something, to kill something. He left the woman he left the woman he loved behind and crossed the turbulent waters. This is his last chance. He's prepared to reclaim it all, leaving himself no hope for a return journey. The only question is how much remains for him to recover. Day by day, sanity is stripped from his mind. Day by day, the curse consumes his body. Is this fate bestowed upon him as punishment for crimes committed in some distant past? Not even he remembers. He's already forgotten so many things. Whatever it is he yearns to take back, his sanity is no longer on the table. Sanity was lost to him long ago. Sanity can never be found again. His wealth and assets, too, were lost when he traversed the oceans, and now there's no way for him to return to his homeland. The only way for him to survive is to turn this foreign land into his second domain. Yet his past, his future, they matter not. At this moment in time, he craves but one thing: blood. His throat is freezing, his skin is parched, his soul hungers. He needs warm blood as soon as possible. He desires to bathe in it as soon as possible. Questions like where he is or what he's doing pale in the face of such fervent longings. He walks through the darkness. Zombies obediently fall in line behind him, marching silently along. The metal box carries him to the surface, where he creeps outside into the brightly lit streets. That very instant, azure flames spill out, flooding the area around him like a ripple on a lake. Yeah, I nearly got deafened by... He is noisy. I nearly got deafened by the sounds of his screaming. The humans in the vicinity had no way of sensing the impending danger. Shrouded by blue haze, he mindlessly steps out onto the crosswalk, ignoring the blinking traffic lights in the van that threatens to crash into him. Meanwhile, his ghoul sees in it pass by his... Ugh. Though the people scream and cry, none of them flee. By the time they realize that this terrible reality has befallen them, they have no recourse. The van collides with the strange man, but at the moment of impact, it is split down the center. As the those flames fan out through the area, scorching the legs of those trying to escape until they're little more than charged. It's pandemonium given life. Hell's pandemonium given life on Earth. In the middle of the pandemonium, the man regains a glimmer of reason. He squints at the dazzling lights around him. Though his thoughts are still drenched in his own pain, the sight stirs disgust within him, providing a brief moment of clarity.
ことさらに見せつけるのがこの土地のあり方か。
Before him is a vast cornucopia of humans. Normally he would feast and drink till his gut was burned. The urge to do so does not strike him now. How can this land be called fertile if the humans inhabiting it have tainted it so? Oh my god.
人間は多い。血には困らない。
The azure flames surround the living dead. They engulf the ghouls, changing their very being and rewriting their composition. They become a type of undead fueled by flames. In exchange for their swollen strength, their lives will quickly burn out like candles.
だがこの豚たちの血。
His physiological disgust only amplifies his curse. Blue flames spill from his being, rushing across the asphalt like a river bursting free from its dam. There, it finds and claws and devours all living things.
「結論として無意味だ。 この輝きも繁栄も俺には無意味だ。
Oh my gosh! Arcoid Chicky, kill this man, or kill this thing. Burning zombies fall back into line behind him like a ghastly parade. He does not remember what he was chasing, but until he remembers there's one thing for him to do. A much needed service that he... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Arcoid Chicky, kill this monster. The town is in chaos. People crowd the streets as they push and pull to escape the mayhem. Fire in front of the station is visible from here. An emergency broadcast placed on the large digital displays on the sides of the buildings. A fire is broken out at the north exit of Soya Station. All trains heading in and out of Soya have been temporarily suspended. People in the downtown area are currently running for their lives. Broadcast switches over to a news presenter interviewing a young girl. She's wearing a high school uniform. It seems she only just managed to slip away from the fire.
暑いのねえ、なんでこんな暑いの。なんか友達が食べられて、私の腕もなんか死んだのに動いているの、燃えてるのに笑ってるの。
Her voice is panicked, driven delirious by the dire situation. Fire spreads relentlessly, and the entire neighborhood has been urged to evacuate, but even with those orders in place, the main street is full of people. They gather and draw together, spurred by curiosity. From a distance, they watch the fire unfold, filming and sending messages to update their friends and family. The road to the station has already been blocked off. Fire prevention, perhaps. No, it's too soon for that. There's still too many people in the area to be blocking it off like this. It's almost like they're trying to keep whatever's inside from escaping. We aren't getting through this way.
こっち。
Arcoid seizes my hand. Without another word, she tugs me along, guiding me through the mass of onlookers drawn by the fire. She lets go of my hand. Yeah, that was an incredibly intense scene. And with how bloody it was, it was very appropriate for the spooky month. Actually, you know what? This entire game is kind of perfect for Halloween. Depending on what I have going on Halloween night, I might, and depending on how much of this game I have left by then, I might just do I might try to do like a massive stream for, oh wait a sec. Maybe that could be my 1 year anniversary stream. Just a massive long finishing out Tsukihime stream. But then again, that does depend on whether But then again, that does depend on how much I have left of Tsukihime. Oh well. Oh well. There's still a bit of time. There's still a fair bit of time before then. Or a little under 2 weeks. Arcade slowly scans the wall of the nearest building.
これならいけそう。
She's gonna punch a hole in the
二人で
building.
飛ぶのは初めてだけど、この高さなら問題ないはず。
Oh no, she can leap tall buildings in a single bound. Arcade doesn't hesitate for a second. She grabs my arms as if to secure me.
上まで飛ぶわ。しっかり捕まってなさい、シキ。
Ooh, pretty intense track. Yeah, I'll have any plans for this setup for. Yeah, I'll have any plans for the 1 year stream setup. At least like hopefully at least like a week in advance. Come here, come here. Sorry, one of the kittens meowed at me. I think she wants attention. Oh, ah. Whoa. You don't... Alice, if you wanted me to put you on the ground, you could have... You didn't have to nearly claw me. We're flying. She's a sweet cat, though. She's playing with her sister now. Flying. No, we're jumping. Arcade leaped against... good thing I'm getting some nail clippers, so I can at least, like... So I can at least dull their claws a bit. And no, I'm not... And to clarify, I am not going to do something like declaw them. That's completely inhumane. Just clipping their nails a bit. Arcade leaped against the wall, bouncing off it and onto the next. Multiple times till we found ourselves soaring above the rooftops high across the skies. With me in tow, of course. We're so high up, I'm going to lose it. How high are we even? We're above the building, so this is what, 40 meters higher? A 20-meter height roller coaster enough to give me a heart attack. This has got to be double that. All with my feet dangling over open space.
シキ、黙ってないと下噛んじゃうよ。
Arcade tilts her head at my screams, but having said that, her movements only grow more turbulent. She jumps from building to building, bouncing off the rooftops like she were a rabbit hopping around the moon. Yeah, I got a little, like a little, claw pad, like a little bit of one of those, clawing pads. I still need to get them to really take to it, but they've been using it some. Thankfully, I haven't been clawed too bad. Just a little scratch every now and then. My expression tightens as my body is subjected to forces unimaginable. But just as I'm beginning to enjoy the experience, we come to a full stop. We're atop a tall building that provides us a panorama of the city. A rooftop garden concealed from unwanted eyes, yet here we stand. The abrupt up and down movement has me heaving to catch my breath. My chest hurts. I'm sure the blood pressure spike was bad for my heart. And even though there was no change in air pressure, my whole body is rigid from coming to such an abrupt halt. It's like I've got the bends.
見て、あそこよ。
見ろって。
I don't manage to finish the thought. For a moment, I even forget about my racing heart. It's all on fire. Our city, this place that I know so well, its familiar buildings are awash in a sea of flame. My eyes adjust to the sight, and I see the tragedy play out in full view. Main Street is veiled in hues of red as the fire colors the town. The flames whittle away the surface of the buildings like a knife. An unholy river of flames with that man at the center of it all, basking in the rain of blood as he sates himself. Their silhouettes spread out in front of him. Police officers have him surrounded on all sides to stop his onslaught. Muzzles of their pistols flash as they all fire on cue. Vlov doesn't even flinch in the slightest. He likely hasn't even noticed the police's presence. More silhouettes step out from the flames behind the monstrous man. Flaming zombies. Some of them may have been alive mere minutes ago, but now they're little more than shambling corpses. They approach the police officers as if begging for their help. Utter disbelief coats my voice. It's too late to turn back now. All the urgent bravado I had for this mission was bleached away by the sight of the town. The only thing left is pure horror. So this is a vampire's true power. A power that enables him to kill people by just by existing. We're supposed to defeat him?
いないわね、教会の連中。ここまで見境なしならそろそろやってくるはずだけど、やっぱりこの国には赴任していない。でもその割にはきっちり交通規制はしているし、ここの代行者、実践派じゃなくて制服組なのかしら。
Arclight's focus lies elsewhere, away from the river of flames. She seems to be on guard for something else.
さあ、どうしようかシキ。見ての通り、ブローブはあの状態よ。私を探し出そうとする理性すらなかったただの殺戮者。あのまま放っておけば、あいつは血を消耗して弱体化する。ブローブの存在規模から言って、この町は燃え尽きるだろうけど、その後なら私一人でも倒せるわ。楽をして傍観をする？それとも。
I know what she's saying. Do I want to brave the danger to save these lives? I mean, to be fair, Japan is like 1% Christian from last I saw the statistics, so it makes sense that they wouldn't really have much of a presence in Japan. She must already know my answer, but she's still checking my result of one last time. Yeah, Japan. Yeah, there's only actually, yeah, I remember seeing that statistic, and that's kind of what I was thinking. It doesn't surprise me if they wouldn't have much of the church in this unit, or in Tsukihime wouldn't have much of a presence or any real political pull in, or enough to have any sort of actual like presence or basically vampire hit squads for rapid deployment. She must already know my answer, but she's still checking my resolve one last time. A chill crawls down my back, but I stare back with as much willpower as I can muster.
方針に変更なしなのね。
Yeah, Shiki's a jerk, but at the very least, he's not such a jerk to where he wouldn't care about innocent
これ
lives.
を見ても気が変わらないなんて、あなたもブローブのことは言えないかも。でもどうするの？私はこのまま始めても構わないけど。
Starting? Is she saying she could change the location of the battle?
なんとかできるのか、あの状況。
うまくいけば、 私も人目につくのは避けたいし。
頼む。今すぐあいつを叩き出してくれ。
了解。ならあいつごとそこに落とすわ。あの下なんか空洞みたいだし。
Take him below a cavern? What is she talking about? Never mind, this isn't the time to be asking questions. We've got to get him away from here as fast as we can.
でも約束は忘れないで。ちゃんと後からついてきてね。
And before my mind has time to catch up with all she said, Arcade jumps. She abandons me on the roof and leaps into the void. Alright, Chicky, time to cut your way through all the locks in the building and run downstairs. There she floats, like a beautiful pale flower caught in the breeze. A flurry of air catches her body as she falls from the rooftop. Unfettered from the chains of gravity, unanchored by nature's laws. Instead of falling, she rises gently. Like a ship in the wind, she sails across the night sky. I can't even be surprised. She's like an infant incarnation of the planet. Every fluctuation that plays across its surface belongs to her. All of nature's blessings, all its fury, that which nurtures life and that which destroys it, both are hers to wield, to embody. To embody.
よーし。
Beautiful flower swivels her body away from the moon. Her attention shifts from the skies to the ground. It is time for her unbound... It is time for her unbound chains and coiled up anchors to slam into the ground. Below her is the concrete castle, spewing sparks of flame.
せーの。
Just power bombing Vlov. The flower that bloomed in the night sky transforms into a falling star. The moon lily becomes a tempest to blow away the conflagration. She's a human missile. She must have fallen from a height of some 80 meters in the sky to hit Vlov. No, not fallen. It was calculated. She launched herself right at him. After adjusting her trajectory in midair, she accelerates towards her target with missile-like precision. Dart and debris erupts in a cloud around the impact site. A massive storm of dust sweeps in the area. Even the ever-expanding river of fire is snuffed out in one fell swoop. The police officers that surrounded Vlov are sent flying backwards by the blast. Most of them are instantly put out of commission. Those who weren't knocked out are too overcome by fear to mount any sort of resistance. Okay, so she focused... it seems like she focused it just enough to where she wouldn't actually kill any bystanders. Just, but it definitely would still knock them. A perfectly natural response. The dust settles, unveiling the scene below, or what's left of it anyway. Arcade's attack didn't just take out Vlov, she plunged to the earth and shattered through its surface, taking a section of the station's north exit and a good chunk of the shopping district down with her. So this is what she meant when she said she'd take him down. The crater has got to be at least 40 meters deep. Feels like I'm witnessing some natural spectacle on par with the Amazon rainforest or Niagara Falls.
少しは加減しろ、あのバカ！
Of course, this isn't praise.
でもすごいな、クソ。偶然か、それとも計算か。
From my vantage point on the rooftop, I don't spot any casualties. Police officers outside the blast zone come rushing in to tend to their unconscious brethren. They then set out to withdraw from the area. As a result, the vicinity is completely cleared of human life. Just one force to be reckoned with. Was that Vlov's fire? Maybe Arcade missed her target, or Vlov managed to dodge just in time. Either way, he's still alive. What a monster surviving a blast like that. Something is chasing him down within the flames. Burst of white flashes from within the cloud of dust, pushing back against him. They're gonna come in after me, okay? Arcade's words echo in my mind. There'll be time to think later. For now, I've got to get down from here. I make for the stairs. Cut through the lock on the door with my knife. I mean, to be fair, that's an easy mispronunciation. I probably accidentally called him Blob on at least 1 or 2 occasions. But yeah, it's Vlov. But yeah, it actually is kind of annoying to say quickly without saying blob. I hurtled down the stairs by the glow of the emergency lights. My resolve and my breathing are both rendered wild and ragged. As I speed downwards. All I have to do is sever Vlov's lines. First, Arcade will fight him and bind him with her chains. Then it'll be my turn. I'll run up to him, cut his lines, and chop him to pieces. What Arcade did just now was truly amazing. It's no wonder she insisted she could restrain him. That said, Vlov is still alive and well. There's a chance that Arcade underestimated him. If she did, her wounds put her at a disadvantage. Worst case scenario, I'll have to face Vlov alone. No, that won't happen. We didn't plan for the worst because there was never any need to. Because if Arcade were defeated, there'd be no option for me but to run away. Last, I make it to an elevator. I throw myself inside and slam the button for the first floor. There's no more time for doubts. Even if there was, I'm in way too deep to voice them. I try to take a deep breath and check myself over. Good. Still in one piece, body still moving. The only parts that feel stiff are my fingers. They grip so tightly around my knife that I don't even feel like they're part of my own body. Is this fear I'm feeling? Am I scared of facing that monster, that incarnation of violence? That's all it is. I'm fine. At least this proves I'm still in my right mind. This is a creature that could kill just by being in close proximity to someone. Any human ought to be afraid of him. That leaves one other fear. The real problem. Namely, I'm more afraid of killing than being killed. My breathing quickens. My heart thumps faster in my chest like it's trying to break free from my body. I arrive at the first floor. Adjusting my grip on my knife, I run as fast as I can towards the crater. I step out of the building and witness the mountain of rubble before me. Slowly, I inch closer to the crater, stopping just short of where the ground caved in to peer over the edge. It's definitely 40 meters deep. There was a park here once. There's no trace of it now. The debris is scattered across the slope, all the way down to where it bottoms out into the cavern. It looks like it'll be too steep to climb back up, though I should be able to get down safely enough. Which is why I'm going to save here because I don't want... Yeah, I'm going to save here. Let's just scope things out real quick. I can't go down there now. Pit below me is filled with azure flames as far as the eye can see. In the middle of it all, there stands the towering vampire. Vlov Archangel. It appears that explosion didn't even scratch him. What a monster. Human standards, he might as well be immortal, but even so... the figure in white still dances circles around him. Beautiful huntress darting and weaving through an orchard of flames. I need to fix the V-Sync issue on this at some point. Yeah, it's just being the screen tearing's a little annoying. Okay, but that can be solved later. Like a beautiful huntress darting and weaving through an orchard of flame and crumbling rubble. That figure in white is Arcuade. She leaps over the river of flames to close in on Vlov. In his hand is some crude weapon. At a glance, it looks like a longsword, but its blade is shaped like a machete. Arcuade, on the other hand, is fighting back against him with her bare hands. She's only got her legs to run and her clawed hands to strike. Yet even so, this proves enough to counter Vlov's machete. He's forced backwards after one tremendous blow. The wound left on his arm is deep enough for me to see the bone beneath. But the sight lasts only a moment. By the time Arcuade slashes open Vlov's flesh, his blood has already flowed over it, repairing the gash. Arcuade warned me about this. Vampires won't die as long as their supply of blood isn't exhausted. It's just like she said. The wound fatal to any ordinary creature disappeared in the blink of an eye like it was never there. He swings his heavy blade without fear. Arcuade is careful not to overextend. Whenever she lands a blow, she quickly leaps back just out of his blade's reach. She must be wary of him landing a counter-strike. No, that's not it. Her face says it all. She's enjoying the chase.
死ににくいだけがあなたの取り柄なの27層も質が落ちたものねこのまま奥の手も見せないで私に殺される
Vlov's breathing comes in ragged heaves. His morbidly pale skin is painted with anguish. He may be immortal. There's a limit to his powers. Even though he appears to be unharmed, Arcuade's dive bomb must have wrecked him, maybe even dealt an otherwise fatal blow, and in regenerating his entire body, he's burned through most of his energy. Arcuade's in a similar situation to me killing her. That sort of thing must have taken its toll on Vlov, too. I take it she's thinking the same thing, so she's distancing herself after each attack. Essentially baiting Vlov to move in for the kill, hoping he'll risk it all on a full-blown counterattack. Metallic ringing of blows reverberates through the air. Vlov's breathing is a mess. An awful foreboding chill creeps up my back. Arcuade's got the upper hand and Vlov is clearly getting exhausted. So why am I feeling so easy watching all of this unfold? It's as if Arcuade's claws are no longer hitting him like they were before. Worse, despite Vlov's ragged appearance of swordplay, machete play is still top-notch. It's as if he can see right through Arcuade's actions, anticipating and calculating her every move. And worst of all, he still hasn't used that blended claw of his yet. Vlov howls. The fire shudders and soars in response. Swirling several meters high, the flames grow into an inferno that towers over the both of them. They then split into countless blazing branches. The underground Coliseum has morphed into a jungle of flame. Walls of fire press in around Arcuade, blocking off her escape routes. At that moment, high above her, melting straight through the rubble, hands composed of heat stretch their fingers wide before slamming straight into her body. For that 1 second, the tides shift in Vlov's favor. Arcuade told me that she could withstand temperatures up to 3,000 degrees, but these flames just burn straight through concrete. They've got to be far hotter than that. Vlov stacked 3 of those fiery hands atop one another. A strike like that wouldn't even leave ashes behind. She never had a chance to escape, and now the fire only serves to lap up its prey. That's how it ends for the woman in white, incinerated without a trace. That is, if this had happened last night. Oh! Outfit change! The flames part. A white skirt flutters in the wind. Ooh. Nice outfit. My gaze is glued to the scene, mesmerized by her transformation. He told me all about it. I've got a plan. I'll remake my body beforehand. This black and white battle just must be the culminate. Kinda looks like she's one. I mean, that's a perfect outfit for a magical girl. Black and white battle just must be the culmination of her plan. A piece of armor that can withstand the heat of Vlov's flames. I wonder if it looks the way it does because it absorbed his flames or if Arco had made it that way. Either way, the flames have no effect on her now. Her plan went off without a hitch. Arcade's victory was all but assured once she figured out that fire was Vlov's main weapon of attack back in the hotel. Vlov assails her with more fiery claws, but Arcade bats them away with a casual flick of her left wrist. As easily as parting her hair, she cleaves through the wall of flames, scattering them left and right. Sparks that manage to touch her white dress sizzle and fade into submission. Her golden hair streaks behind her like a shooting star. The way she moves and swings her claws now is unlike anything I've seen her do so far. Vlov is forced to stumble back, helpless against her onslaught. The difference between them is astounding. It's hardly even a contest anymore. Vlov went from hunter to hunted the second his flames were rendered useless. Arcade is absolutely relentless, inflicting fatal wound after fatal wound as she corners the vampire. The only reason Vlov's still standing must be because he's still got some blood in reserve. That will run out sooner or later, especially since there's no one left in the area for him to beat off of. All that's left is that which already flows within his body. Just a few more hits like this and that'll be gone too. He'll be starved, and once he no longer possesses a fuel he needs to regenerate, he'll be little more than a regular corpse. A plea for mercy, undignified like a spoiled child. Gone is his skillful display with the machete. His swings turn wild and graceless as he haphazardly lunges at Arcade, almost like he were trying to cast away his fears, but she doesn't miss her chance to retaliate. Vampire cries as he leaps into the air. Getting away from Arcade takes every last ounce of blood-fueled power that he has. He flees, soaring higher and higher, aiming past the confines of the crater. Even a 40-meter deep crater is enough to keep him trapped. It's likely that he intends to scour the surface for more blood to replenish his supply. But ivy wraps around his legs before he has a chance to escape. It sprouts from the earth in a flash, tangling itself around the vampire with incredible force and drags him right back into the center of the hole. The river of fire at Vlov's feet is reignited. I watch as the azure flames turn the ivy to ashes, but it's not enough to release him of his shackles. New vines spring forth from this topsoil of ashes. No matter how many times he burns through them, the chains remain unbroken, reviving again and again like a phoenix. Even the immortality of a vampire pales in comparison to nature's infinite cycle of rebirth. These vines that are that cycle made manifest. Short of burning down the entire plant, there's no way to escape them. No amount of vampiric powers or curses can extinguish nature's breath. Arcade dashes in his direction. Everything about her posture and demeanor tells me that she's going in for the final blow. She's already crushed every last one of his attacks. Finally, she's decided to put an end to this. I'm happy to let her do the honors. She doesn't need my involvement. Any moment now, Arcade will crush Vlov. There's just one thing. Even with our victory so close at hand, my heart beats like crazy. Something feels wrong. His agony, his labored breath, something tells me that things aren't as they seem. The anguish painted on his sallow face is clearer than ever. And this incandescency alone inhabits a different world. The white breath, still out of place amidst the fiery sea that envelops him. I know that look in his eyes. It's one of obsession and of self-preservation. He's both the aggressor and the victim, which is when I realize that we made a huge mistake. Arcade's victory is already guaranteed. I'd be an idiot to try and interfere now. I'd just sit here and observe. There's no need for me to plunge into that hellscape. Knowing that I call out to Arcade. I remember what Arcade told me. Defeating a vampire means defeating whatever special abilities they possess. The problem is that we were looking at the wrong ability. Focusing on the fire, we overlooked everything else. That's not where its true power lies. I shouted her from high above, But I'm too late. My voice won't reach her. Despite it all, I scream with all my might. I know what type of power this vampire wields. It's not heat, but... Archway pierces his chest. Blood spurts out from the wound. Flows quick and free, like a bottle uncorked. At last, the scorching nightmare is brought to an end. Vlov is pushed past the final threshold. Terrible sound fills the air. Rends time and space as the vampire reveals its true form. The atmosphere crackles and sparks. The atoms that were accelerated by the heat suddenly decelerated at an unnatural pace. Electrons bounce off the ultra-cold matter and, with nowhere to go, react with the atmosphere. Blue flames that covered the ground around him were never really flames at all. They were an exothermic reaction akin to vaporization, the very Earth rapidly losing heat. He extends one of his cold-blooded arms. His fingers are spread wide, palms open as if craving warmth. The beautiful huntress is enveloped in blinding light. It wasn't just the temperature that dropped, the world itself underwent a drastic change. A torrent of ice blows Archway away and engulfs the city beyond. Everything is frozen from the ground of the pit below to the roofs of the skyscrapers, all in a flash. I wonder if anyone was left in those buildings. If there were people who still hadn't been evacuated, then the sheer cold would have robbed them of their heat and killed them in an instant. A shiver runs down my back at the sight before me. I'm afraid to think of what might follow this. It's stupid luck that I'm even alive now. Had I been behind Archway on the other side of the crater, I would have been frozen alive. The river of the flames can cover a wide area, but it also spreads slowly. Most people will be able to outrun those flames if needed. This river of frost is something else. It might have a narrow range and follow a set path across the ground, but once it's fired, it spells instant death. If he manages to escape above ground, he'll slaughter the whole town. I desperately cling to the hope that she's still alive. She's the only one who could stop this monster. Hopefully she's still alive. I spot her in the middle of the glacial river. Thank God for Archway being tough as nails. It looks like that blast of ice didn't even dent her.
そういうこと。あなたは正気がないんじゃなくて、正気から逃げていたのね。三流の使徒である原理を持つ以上は星を打倒しうる。おかげで目が覚めたわ。ブローブ・アルハンゲル。
Archway stands untouched at the center of the glacier. Vlov's gaze is as cold as the ice that surrounds him. His eyes are no longer filled with the same pain and agony as before. They're the eyes of a hunter now, stalking his prey on the snowy tundra.
目を覚ましたのはこちらの話だ。よくも俺からここまで熱を奪ってくれた。
The hatred on his tongue cuts the air like a knife. He hasn't lost the will to fight. If anything, this is the first time I've actually seen him this motivated to battle.
そう。なら、己の幸運を感じなさい、ブローブ。本来なら目を覚ます前に終わらせていたわ。あなたを救ったのは憎たらしい殺人鬼よ。
確かに。伝え聞いた貴様の姿と今の貴様はかけ離れている。どうやらここ一番で俺は幸運を拾ったか。
忌々しいけどそういうことよ。お互い最後の一撃を残しているだけの低たらく。どちらかが仕掛ければどちらかが消えるだけ。その前に最低限の礼は取ってあげる。答えよ、賠償家畜の我が霊則。その証、根の病巣、大臼のごときその穴蔵。新たな原理をはらんだ種よ。貴様にとって血とは何よ。
Archway sounds oddly dire, even considering the situation. Her question sounds like she's condemning him. Even Vlov looks like he was taken by surprise.
慎んで答えよう。俺にとって血液とは生命の熱さ。我が凍傷を癒す霊薬。我が世界。我が原理を回すもの。 しかり血液がなければ俺はこの寒さに凍りつく。
His tone belies an honest reverence as he clarifies his true nature.
思い出した。人間を嫌い、恐れ、避けようと絶海を漂流し、城を構えた変わり者。27祖の一人、ゼリア・アッヘンバウム。1000年を超える原理を持ちながら、子を作らずに領地を治めていたと聞いたけど、そう。つまり、殺して奪ったのね。
そうだ、俺は後継者ではない。ただの騎士だ。騎士だった。永遠など俺には手に余るものだ。
Vampire beckons towards the shadow with his right hand. Out of his unnaturally stretched umbras emerges a strange and massive weapon.
だが、ご当主にとってもそれはより不相応だった。故に奪った。騎士として王を倒し、その王座を簒奪した。今やこの原理は俺だけのものになった。
そう。短い王位だったわね。
Big lance.
強気だな。空想具現化もできぬほど弱っていながら、俺と正面から打ち合うと。
いらない。たかだか死と相手に世界と同化する必要もない。あなた程度、この爪だけで十分よ。
The corner of his lips curve into a smile, his gallant features twist into that of a hideous beast. It's a wry smile, as if to confirm Arcuade's accusation.
最も強き者とは先辺にして偏らぬ。貴様はまさにそれだ。そこまで衰退していながらまだ俺を上回る余力がある。あらゆる呪い、あらゆる状況に対応する原初の位置。波の使徒ではかなわない。
The air distorts. His twisted desires spur the blue haze to lower the temperature even further. But Arcuate doesn't hesitate. She's fully aware that a direct hit from Vlov's strange lance could be the end of her, yet she still charges head on. Then...
だが貴様は知るまい。かの領土はこの星の一部でありながら、いかに神祖の姫であろうと、この地獄に耐えきれるか。
A flurry of ice-cold gusts spread outwards from Vlov. Arcuate comes to an abrupt halt and throws up her hands in front of her as if to protect herself. The wind screeches as it blankets the surroundings and temperatures approaching absolute zero. And then... the giant otherworldly spear shatters Arcuate's pure white dress. Shiki, get down there! The blast kicks up a snowstorm that blocks my vision. My breath turns white as the air around me cools. The blizzard clears, revealing Arcuate crumbled on the ground a few dozen meters from Vlov. Nothing remains of her fireproof dress. She's gone back to her original form.
怪物め、俺の槍を受けて原型をとどめているか。だが
Arcuate lies dead still. But Vlov doesn't approach her. Instead, he raises his hands as if signaling for something. The debris surrounding Arcuate creaks and crumbles. Beneath the rubble, the clawed hands of zombies scratch and groan as they crawl out from the dirt.
この狩りを女の死体を拾ってこい。その順応性、 あらゆる苦しみを上回る万能の血を。
At Vlov's command, the zombies head to where Arcuade lies motionless. It's over. Our plan failed. There won't be another chance to chain up Vlov. Arcuade is gone as the city is wrapped in the grim cold. Everyone is as good as dead. What I see before me now are the final moments before the world as I know it ends. Cold feels like razor blades on my skin. My body temperature is dropping rapidly. Even living is a challenge in this extreme weather. My brain's gears grind as the pressure in my skull raises. Claw my chest, feeling like my heart might explode any moment now. I give myself 2 more minutes at best. A horde of zombies is closing in on Arcade. Despite the freezing cold, the scene reminds me of midsummer. They're like a file of ants marching towards some spilled sugar under the scorching sun. They'll kill her. They'll tear her limb from limb, just like you did once. Yet I stand here watching it all unfold from the safety of this ledge. At this rate, they'll... This rate? That thing is a natural disaster in the guise of a human. We never should have gone after him. It was the height of arrogance to think we could defeat him. What was I thinking? That we could stop him from killing more people? That we could solve this without any more casualties? What a joke. We never should have confronted him. If we just let the whole disaster blow over like a typhoon, at least he might have stopped it burning the city to the ground. They couldn't do anything. You chose to do nothing. You choose to do nothing. They had nothing to fight back with. You have a weapon. Pressure builds against my skull. Thoughts turn to disarray as common sense wrestles with delusion. My consciousness turns to flee. I make no move to stop it. There's nothing I can do. No way I can fight him. But I've done enough. Any more to say, but I should run like she'll die. I stare up at the sky. Tall, frozen buildings invade my view. People inside must have died in an instant. No chance to even manage to scream. Unlike what happened at the hotel, the heating screams of the people there still haunt me even now. I look over at the fallen woman. The corpse is inched closer and closer, moaning and drooling. Even now, the river vice continues to expand, all while the vampire watches over his domain of death with absolute indifference. My head splits from the pain. At this low temperature, my heart has to squeeze and contract with everything it's got to keep my blood flowing. Everything points to just one conclusion. Every trickle of fear that sinks to the pit of my stomach churns and turns, coagulating into a mass of fury. I may be defective, a laughingstock, stupid and naive, because despite all of that, I still can't bear to stand by and watch this happen. I remove my glasses. I cover my mouth with my left hand to stop what remains of my precious body heat from escaping through my breath. I've got maybe 3 minutes. That's all the time I'll have until the fire within me burns out. It's not that I lack motivation. That's just a realistic assessment of how long a human can survive down that pit. I scold myself as I slide down the slope. This is crazy. I'm crazy. This is also crazy. Run away if you want to live? No, it's the opposite. If I really want to live, I need to go in. This monster cannot be allowed to exist. This monster cannot be allowed to roam free. If I run away, I'll die. If I run away, the entire city will perish with me. So it's clear what I have to do now. If I want to live, I need to kill. If I'm going to survive, I need to charge. I have to kill him right here and right now as fast as I can. My patience for this creature is already run thin. It dares to kill, steal, and live on without remorse or repercussion. I cannot allow it to live, not as a human, not as a fellow living creature. As long as this thing lives, it will be my prey. I will tear out its life force by the root. I run towards Arcade. The zombies are about to press their teeth into her tender flesh. I remember the question she asked me earlier. Can I actually bring myself to kill? Whether they're truly human or not, can I kill something that looks so human? It doesn't matter now. My head simply aches. I've never gone without my glasses for this long. I've never been this objective in my thinking. In my frenzied state, I make quick note of where each death line is on their body. Then I commit to memory each of my undead targets. Heads off, her, you eyesores. The dead shouldn't dare to prey. The dead shouldn't dare to prey on the living. Besides, she's my prey. What? I cut through lines on 3 of the zombies like they were butter. Each neatly splits into 3 pieces and drops to the ground dead. It was almost too easy. With their attention focused on Arcade, they were completely defenseless. I make no attempt to touch her. I just call out to her as I kill the 4th. Roused by my voice, Arcade opens her eyes in a daze. She pushes herself off the ground, but the toll on her is evident from her face and posture. She's come to. She's alive, though her wounds haven't healed. It looks like Arcade won't be able to move anytime soon. She's the one who ought to be running away, not me. Fortunately, I don't exactly have it in me to get her to safety.
ならいい。できるなら援護してくれ。
援護ってあなた一人でやる気？っていうか正気？
正気でこんな真似できるか？いいか、俺にとってここは海の底だ。3分しか時間はない。だから今度こそ俺とお前で奴を殺して終わらせる。
Knife in hand, I dash ahead, leaving Arcade behind. I look over to Vlov, quickly calculating the distance between the 2 of us. About 40 meters. 6 seconds before I reach him. He still hasn't noticed me yet. 3 more seconds. I can't waste any more time observing him. I've got to end this with one final blow. My body is already suffering from hypothermia. I've got 3 more minutes until my mind and body shut down entirely. But I have at most 1 minute before my body starts to falter and I can no longer move freely. That's funny enough. I can already see the lines that'll let me kill him where he stands. He finally reacts. He shifts his gaze toward me with all the disinterest of a man about to wave off a bug. The gigantic glance he used to skewer Arcade is gone too. Which makes sense. I'd be worried if it wasn't. In Vlov's eyes, I'm nothing. I might as well be one of his useless zombified minions. He sees me as no more than Arcade's incompetent bodyguard. I stayed his spear when he could just as easily crush this insignificant human under his boot. That gives us our chance. All I can do is catch him by surprise. He's already spotted me, so getting him from behind is no longer an option. That doesn't mean a surprise attack is out of the question. He doesn't know about my eyes. He never fathomed that a mere human could possess the power to kill an immortal vampire with a single strike. Two seconds. It's my only chance, my one shot to cross a boundary between life and death. Focus. All I need to do is dodge his first move. As long as I can do that, then my gamble will pay off and I'll be able to cut through his lines. 1 second before I reach him, just as I'm about to get within slashing distance, we both jump back from one another at the same time. We never even got within each other's reach. 2 factors brought us here. First, I made a misstep. Cold air concentrated around him prevents me from getting closer. The closer I get, the duller my body and mind become. At the speed I was going, I've lost consciousness as soon as I was within 2 meters of him. One more step and it would have been over for me. I've lost the element of surprise. It just isn't possible to sneak up on Vlov and kill him. Yeah, especially when he's just got a straight-up aura of instant death gold. But I can live with that. Failing the ambush was something I had accounted for. There's one other problem, though. A problem far more deadly. My rage throbs behind my temples, mixing with the headache from going without glasses for so long. Still can't believe it. He somehow managed to read me. He must have some kind of intuition. A primal instinct to survive that would put any wild animal to shame. He should have had no reason to fear me, yet he somehow sensed that I have some method of killing them. In that perilous instant, he recognized me as a threat, leaping away without another moment's thought. I jumped back around 2 meters, but his retreat was on another level. He had to have pulled a full 30 meters back. I suppose 30 meters must be the minimum safe distance for a vampire. It's almost hilarious just how different a scale we operate on. He took the words right out of my mouth. My luck has quickly gone down the drain. He'll never let me close this gap between us again. I recognize that I won't be able to take him down, whereas he's figured out that I possess a way to kill him. From here on out, it'll be...
お前はそこで死んでいろ。
A long distance massacre. The cold air condenses, forming icy objects in midair. Yeah, the sharpest spears and like bullets they fly, targeting my skull. Do I dodge or do I try to take them? Should I waste my weapon here or continue to conceal it? Decision is made on instinct. It rings my brain like a wet towel. My eyes hone in on the instrument of death like focus being adjusted on a camera. Like at the lines. These spears of ice that are nurtured, the very bonds holding them together will be killed right in front of me. Death takes aim at my temples. I align my knife with the projectiles. Humans were once feral beasts too. We're still hosts to the acute reflexes and instincts we had during that bygone time. As long as I'm free to move my body as I wish, these icicles are no deadlier than a pea shooter. However, I've used up my only shot at a surprise attack. His eyes tell me everything I need to know. He saw what I just did now. He doesn't have to understand how I did it, but I'll never get close enough to do it to him. I've lost my only avenue to victory. Should I really have shown him my trump card so soon? No, I shouldn't have. It's not like I had another choice. I had to play my best hand in order to survive. I'll just have to find something that can make up for it. I limit myself to only the most necessary movements. Even if I can't get close to him, I should at least try to conserve my energy. There's only 2 more minutes till I hit my limit. My fears cast out by excitement. Caught in a battle for survival, my perspective on life and death gets turned upside down.
奇跡の類ではない。しかし常識でもない。俺の渇きを水のように通すとはどういう理屈だ。
Yeah, Shinki's actually been cool. There's a brief lull in the onslaught of icicles. He hones the waves of cold air into singular points, creating a maelstrom of ice.
死がただ死ね。あまり俺の胸を躍らせるな。
Frozen javelins are launched in my direction as if from a trap thrower. I slice through each of his icy bullets. With Arcuate behind me, I've got no other choice but to cut down every projectile he throws our way. It takes about 1.5 seconds for frozen spears to close the distance between us. As long as I'm able to move my body, I can continue fending off his assault. But in the meantime, I need to come up with a plan. Vlov hasn't moved an inch. Why? There's no reason for him to hold back now that he recognizes I'm a threat, which leaves me with a hypothesis. He's frozen in place not because he thinks he can finish me off from afar, but because he can't move when he's in that state. Arcuate has cornered him already, leaving him without blood to fuel him. This freezing aura that surrounds him is more like the final defense mechanism of a monster on the verge of death. It's a wild theory, but it's one that fits the present situation. Trapped and unable to move, Vlov desperately throws cursed icicles every which way in order to cling to life. In the end, it doesn't matter if he runs hot or cold. All creatures ultimately perish when in his proximity. If I were within 10 meters of him, I'd freeze to death in 2 seconds. I'm going to collapse in no time. I'll meet my end like a lost traveler on a snowy mountain, doomed to drift off to sleep and never wake up again. When a human's body exceeds 43 degrees or drops below 34, brain cells start to shut down. But I can't lose myself in the details. I have to look at the broader picture. I cannot let my thoughts distract me. My duty is to slice my knife through whatever comes my way the second I see it. I do have to revise some of my earlier assumptions. Yes, the cold he emanates spreads out in all directions, but after a closer look, I'm not certain the density is uniform all the way around. The ground seems cold. That must mean there are temperature disparities in the air around him. If he has a weak point, that's where I'll find it. His blizzard may act as an all-encompassing barrier, but that doesn't make it impenetrable from every angle.
死の淵で主を守るか。勇ましいが限界だ。
Vlov draws a lance he used against Arcuate from the shadows once more. As he does, a large tree of ice crystallizes in the air behind him, the branches extending in all directions. His attack interrupts my analysis. I focus again on intercepting his projectiles. There's no way I can kill all the icicles this time. I'll have to take a hit. No, I can't let that happen. It's too soon to give up. I can't afford to take the slightest graze. Bleeding here would mean death. The unforgiving cold would strip me of life before the minute was out, so I have no option but to kill. One way or another, I must. I reboot my consciousness and see the lines. Only the lines. One by one, I take note of my prey. 26 in all. I devise my plan. Plot where to move, where to slice and kill, and where to dodge. Center of it all, I see it. That which far transcends all the lines of death surrounding it. Perfect point from where the lines are born, a place where death converges. Oh, he's gonna shank whatever that spot is. The wall of death closes in on me. But just now I saw it, a glimmer. Just as soon as I'm going to die here, so too does the possibility exist of him dying. But I've already reached my limits. Shikitono is out of ways to ensure his survival. The icicle ripped through the flesh of my left thigh and the right side of my abdomen. Precious heat is robbed from my extremities. My ligaments scream as each sudden stop chews away more muscle fibers. The cells within are instantly destroyed by the ultra-cold temperature. My fingers grow numb. I can barely move my limbs. Super Saiyan Shiki. This is it. The chance of victory slipping out of sight. Whether he finishes me off or not, I'll be dead within a minute. If Vlov or Arcade or anyone else would watch me now, they'd think the same, I'm sure of it. No one believes it more than me. So then why? It must be some primal animal instinct. Why is it that you're smiling during all of this? An icicle strikes Arcade in the face. Forgot to account for Arcade's position behind me. Looks like it only managed to graze her, but she has one hand over her face, rubbing the spot where she was struck. What kind of person takes a hit like that to the face and come out with barely a scratch? I'm reminded once more of just what a monster Arcade is. He buries one hand into the ground and pulls out a massive slab of earth as easily as someone might dig through sand with a shovel. Then, as if to rebuke Vlov for the pain he caused her, she flings the rock in his direction. But he demolishes it just as easily with his lance. There's still not a scratch on him. It makes sense that he wouldn't be killed by rudimentary weapons. Yet, after seeing Arcade's counterattack, it's like the final piece of the puzzle has fallen into place. Finally, I've got something I can work with. I could kill him with one blow. But to do that, I'll have to strike him before my body shuts down from the cold. How, though? My legs won't carry me the distance they need to in a matter of 2 seconds. I need something faster. To maximize my chances, I better approach him from an angle where the cold is thinnest, but I can't use my legs to do that. I've got no other options. At this rate, I'll die anyway. It's no longer a question of if I can do it, but how. Brace yourself. There's only one way to get close enough, and that's by... Oh! Hang on. Okay, yeah. Oh, choice time. Throwing. This is probably going to end horribly. Throwing. Or more accurately, turning me into a human cannonball. Vampire may be on guard now, but I still remain an all too deadly weapon to him. That just leaves the question of how I'll launch myself in this direction. A question with a simple answer. If my legs won't carry me there, I'll just need to depend on some outside help. This is going to be a dead end, ain't it? I quickly run for Arcade. I hear the sharp noises of ice shattering behind me. Seems the claws of wind she generates can pinpoint targets even from this far. Arcade, throw me! Grouping up together like this makes this easy game for Vlov. I'm well aware of this fact.
俺にもやってくれ。
はあ
To be precise, I want her to throw me with that. That chunk of rock she threw earlier must have been nearly 3 meters across. If she could do the same with me on it, then that would be way faster than I could run.
言いたいことは大体分かったけど、それ途中で振り落とされない？
普通ならな。でも縛るものならいくらでも出せるだろう。
そりゃ
Though Arcade hesitates, this is our only option. I'll have her tie me to a piece of rubble just big enough to hide behind and throw me towards Vlov. Please tell me that this works, because this plan is so stupid, but I love it. I love this plan. I love this plan so much. It's so dumb, but when it's your only real option, you kind of got to go with the stupid option. Besides, I don't think Vlov would ever expect them to do something so idiotic. I hope it works. I love this option. Of course, he'll strike down whatever is thrown his way, which is why Arcade will hurl 3 bolters. First one will fly straight for Vlov. The next will deliberately miss Vlov and aim for his rear. And the last one will target Vlov once more. Naturally, I'll be hiding behind the second, the one that'll skirt around him. Then, just before it hits ground, cut through the lines on its surface and appear behind Vlov in under 2 seconds flat.
本当にそれでいいの？タイミング逃したら衝突したよ。
Arcade, I've never been more sure about something in my life.
逃したらな。うまくいけば無傷で殺せる唯一の手段だ。
The icicles only grow in number and ferocity. We don't have any more time to waste.
分かった。ブローブを狙いながら士気の乗った瓦礫だけ外すのね。
ああ、あいつの横を通り過ぎるくらいでいい。
I get behind Arcade. There I find a nice, large piece of debris to hide behind. I press my hands and feet against the rock as if I were doing a push-up. Green ivy forms from Arcade's fingertips, tying me down against the stone. Vines wrap around my thighs, and soon both my legs and my left hand are pinned to the stone. The only limb with a measure of freedom is my right hand, which is holding the knife.
ブローブまで50メートル。さっきのがあんな感じだったから。
Arcade extends both hands, lifting both the regular rubble and the rock I'm hiding behind into the air.
4秒我慢して。
The stones flying through the air must weigh at least a ton. And even as weakened as she is, she's just casually tossing it around like it's a piece of trash. 3 more seconds. As if stubbornly defying all laws of air resistance, the first piece soars directly to Vlov's head. Just before it can find its target, the rock is caught by Vlov's lance and splintered into pieces. But that's not to say it was completely ineffective. Some of the shattered pieces manage to hit Vlov's body. The damage they cause might not be significant, but it'll be enough to briefly draw his attention. Capitalizing on the moment, my rock sails past his right side. I dismantle the rock. It immediately becomes inert, ignoring all laws of momentum. My limbs are free to move now. They find purchase on land as I stick to the ground like a lizard does to a wall. In that instant, both my body and my blood begin to freeze. I can sense his back now. Just 4 meters, it'll be tight but not impossible. Vlov shatters Arcade's third boulder. 1 second down, 1 meter to go. Just 2 more steps and I'll be within stabbing range of the lines that will end his life. But it's impossible for a human to take those final 2 steps. Can't scream, nor can I feel any pain. I'm frozen from head to toe. Did he realize I was coming, or was it simply out of reflex? Countless thorns of ice spring up around Vlov to intercept my advance. He sounds disappointed. Safe. Right, safe. I was too concerned over finding a way to stay alive. Arcade was worried about my safety. Because of that, she threw my rock just a bit slower than the other 2. I'm such an idiot. I really screwed up. You can't even call it a surprise attack when it's so transparent. Luckily, I don't have to wait to bleed to death. Between Vlov's cowl of coal in my own bitter disappointment, my heart has already stopped beating. Well, at the very least, I saved right before that decision. Help me, CL Sensei. Or teach me, CL Sensei. Teach me, Miss CL.
どこにしまったかにゃ。必要なのは何だったかにゃ。いつかどこかでポチったんだけどにゃ。間違えて3つくらい同じの買ったんだけどにゃ。
The goofy cat.
まあいいや。いらないものは全部バイ。にゃはは。捨てろ捨てろ。ついでに主人公人形もパイ。ルフィ、決まってきた。待って待って、それを捨てるなんてとんでもない。あ、やべ。
やべ。
まあ幸いぬいぐるみのようですので問題はないかと。そうがにゃ。何やら運命を感じさせるシンクロニシティ。
Synchronicity?
これはもしや主人公はかっこよく射出されて飛び散るという暗示なのでは。まさか。いくら遠野くんでもそんな無謀な作戦は
Like the one that just got him killed.
立ててますね。大胆というか命知らずというか。
Little bit of column A, little bit of column B.
なっちまえばいいんだよ、ミサイルに。
A murder
そ
missile?
の行きは良かったんだけどにゃ。縦軸と横軸の問題をクリアできなかったのが敗因ですかな。ここの3択は全て無理めなプランですから、難易度自体はどれも大差ないかもですね。すぐに直前の選択肢に戻って、もう一度これはと思う手段をお選びください。グローブ戦もいよいよクライマックス。戦いは常に頭上を取るものですよ、トーナくん。
Dubious help section. Wait. Always aim to get the high ground, Tono. Okay, teach me, Miss CL. See you next time. Okay. Thankfully... Yeah, well, I will need to check what the other option was. Brace yourself. I will need to check what the other option is, but yeah, taking flight might be the... Yeah, high ground. Yeah. Because that's the only one that... I know it's called a dubious help section. I know it says dubious help section, but I'm pretty sure that's still... They're still actually trying to help you. Taking flight. Or I suppose it'd be more accurate to say falling down. But can I actually pull it off? The whole thing would be down to luck. I'm already aware that there's no way I'd come out of this venture unscathed. For one, the impact of the landing alone would break my bones and turn my muscles to pulp. Will you be able to bear such agony? I narrowly sliced through the projectiles as if I were cutting through my own hesitation. Those were a little too close for comfort, but I ought to thank him. That last shot has opened my eyes. I just need to take whatever pain that comes my way. I've never been particularly susceptible to the sting of death to begin with. From now on, I'll tune every last thought to the prospect of killing. I have no doubt that Vlov is already doing the same. I turn around and run towards Arcade. Though doing so depletes me of my last reserves of energy. I couldn't take one more step if I tried. My enemy is 50 meters away from me, but that's fine. Horizontal distance doesn't matter here.
アルクエイド、さっきのあれもう一回できるか。
あれって何？
I quickly explained my plan to her. It's a short explanation. She views me with total bewilderment, but something about my expression must have convinced her.
その規模でやると私の余力もなくなるわ。それでもいいのね。もう逃げることもできないわよ。
I nod, indicating I've accepted the consequences. I don't even have the energy to talk, and I'm honestly shocked Arcade was still considering the possibility of escape.
でもそれって式は途中で落っこちない？私そのあたり加減できないよ。
そりゃ落ちるに決まってるだろ。だから。
Even though I was supposed to catch my breath, I can't help but yell before getting to my plan. Which is when... There's no time to explain. Vlov has already sent another merciless storm of spears our way.
いいから全力で手を抜かずやってくれ。やりすぎてもいい。お前に殺されるならそれはそれで本望だ。
Don't hold back. If I'm gonna die, then I'd rather it was by your hand. We don't have time to dance around the issue. I take my eyes off Arcade and focus on her enemy. Behind me, Arcade perks up in response to my order.
任せて。私が式を勝たせてあげる。
Oh! I crouched down in front of Arcade. There, I press my knees and palms flat against the ground. An unseen arm runs beneath the surface. Arcade unearths another slab of rock just like... No, it's on a whole different scale this time. The entire terrain crumbles and shakes as she loosens a massive swath from the ground. Yeah, no surprise that Shiki's messed up. Like the... Yeah, no surprise that the dude is absolutely messed up. Like, I think... Like, he took like a grazing blow on his arm earlier from one of the icicles and just straight up got slammed in like his left leg with one. The fact that he's still thinking is kind of impressive. It's an explosion of soil, a veritable upheaval of the ground. The terrain splinters into countless pieces. If Vlov's cold is a blizzard, then Arcuade's made a tsunami of earth. Even Vlov's deathly icicles are but droplets splashing against a tidal wave. Soon the 50-meter high wall of earth will crash into him with a full force of 7,000 tons. Yet the knight doesn't flinch in the face of the looming calamity. He pierces through the wave of gravel with a thrust of his steel lance. Between the falling debris, he must have noticed that Arcade, having used the last of her strength to pry apart the bedrock, was now on her knees, and that the imminent threat was nowhere to be seen among the earth and sand. Staring down the towering wave, his instincts returned to him. To be precise, they had returned 2 minutes prior. When a lone human forced him into retreat, that which he had thought was forever lost to the cold was rekindled, and he found himself regaining a semblance of his sanity. This human has the means to kill me. I know not how, only that he does. A lingering instinct of a man once whole. The intuition of a warrior honed and tempered during the Dark Ages suddenly broke free of the curse plague in his body. The deep-seated pride of a knight built up over a mere 2 decades had won over the madness of a millennium. He understands all too well that this is nothing short of a miracle, but such things are fleeting. The delusion of the mind will end once he kills the human. It will regress to being a dream of the dead, never to see the light of day again. In a matter of moments, the human joy he finds in the thrill of the fight will be buried by a haze of frost. Well, that's why he intends to relish the development. He understands the enemy's intention. He'll mask his approach using the debris as cover. He's seen the human's weapon. He knows it can cut through things. Surely that human will use this wall of dirt as a door, burst through it, and encroach on his territory. He readies his lance. The wall of dirt towers before him. Under normal circumstances, he would shatter the wall and his concealed foe with it. There's no need for him to adapt to his enemy's tactics. His preferred method of warfare has always been to offer no quarter and crush all resistance. He still has plenty of energy remaining. 10 people's worth of the finest blood. Yet the vampire remains obstinate.
それはできない。この魂を消費することだけは。
It is his warmth. In order to burn, he will preserve this blood for all eternity. He does not mean to make a light of the human. He's already realized that the foe he faces is an outlier. He's more than aware that if a human gets too close, it will be the end of him. Yet there are things even he is unwilling to relinquish. Fully aware of his own heedlessness, he thrusts his lance forward using 50% of his remaining power. The giant wave of debris breaks apart immediately on impact, but that only takes care of the rocks to his front. The blow ensured his immediate safety, and nothing more. He knows that it would do little to his foe. He knows the enemy will come for him, no matter the cost he will come. Unfortunately, there are limits to the human body. There's no way of passing through this rain of debris. Even with the true ancestor princess on his side, some things are impossible. When the earthen waves break and the downpour ends, so will the life of the human. As long as he can find the boy and ambush is impossible. Vlov opens his eyes. Their equipped appear leads into the distance. But he finds nothing. Not even a glimpse of a shadow creeping away. Could he have actually managed to kill him with that mighty blow? No. Bo would never die to something so simple. He chastises himself for thinking so highly of the enemy, yet a deathly cold chill runs down his spine. Ah. Look up, moron. For a single second, he allowed his mind to drift from his foe. He knows that the enemy will come, yet if he is nowhere to be found, then the knight's premise must have been faulty from the start. The vampire looks up at the sky. There he finds his enemy illuminated under the moonlight. Pale blue ghost lights of the mystic eyes of death perception bear down upon him. Very true. Arcade's aim wasn't just to bury Vlov in debris. It was to lob this boulder into the air. The one I was strapped to, far out of the vampire's view. More importantly, above the reach of his cold. 30 meters below me, the tidal wave of Earth is demolished by Vlov. What remains is just him, me, and the vast open air between us. Steel my nerves as I revisualize the outcome. If I manage to do this, Shikitono will lose both his legs. Even if I survive, I'll never walk again. Certainty crystallizes in my mind's eye. But I don't let that bother me. If I can brace long enough to survive the next 2 seconds, then the result will be well worth it. Oh, this is a sick track. It took him only a second to find me. I'll admire his speed, it'll be 1 second too late.
あれ？でもそれって式は途中で落っこちない？私そのあたり加減できないよ。
そりゃ落ちるに決まってるだろ。だからお前が俺に道を作ってくれ。
Yeah, out of power. Yeah, out of power. The floating rocks fall into place like a puzzle piece. Like puzzle pieces. A hastily constructed slide connected by ivy. We sit on the same coordinates with only the air between us. I calculate my chances of survival. Before I get started, I confirm my target. My route is plotted. A one-way path. 30 meters in 2 seconds. It's over, Vlov. I have the high ground. It's showtime, bloodsucker. It's over, Vlov. I have the high ground. My descent begins. I plunge down the slide into the maw of death. I've given up on reacting. I can only make my decisions one at a time, 1 second at a time. During the 2 seconds leading up to my touchdown, I focus on 2 factors. Every decision I make could end with my death. Faced with such a scenario, I must concentrate on what my chances of dying are particularly high. I visualize every point that could lead to certain death. Only 2 such exist. Elsewhere, my chances of survival lie around 10%. I don't need to worry about those. 10% is more than enough. The problem lies with the ones where I have a 0% chance. A scenario where I will die no matter how deftly I perform, no matter how careful I am. Which is why I must do whatever I can to raise those odds from 0 to 1%. Never tell me the odds. I need to sharpen my senses as if I'm too... I need to sharpen my senses if I'm to overcome these two obstacles of death. Don't have the luxury to allocate them anywhere else. As I drop down, I no longer have the capacity to plan ahead for anything else either. What if I'm wrong here? There are more than 2 points of certain death. I can't even fathom it. If there are, then it's already over for me. I don't have the strength to avoid 3 of them. That would just mean his power exceeds my wildest expectations. Icicles appear in the air behind him and shoot forth at me as if to smother their prey. They close in like the jaws of a beast. It's terrifying, but I'm beyond caring now. Pretty much. That fear amounts to nothing more than a base animal instinct. I'd seen this coming from a mile away. This thing I feared would kill me. 10 meters. I've passed through the first obstacle. Every last one of my nerves is on fire. My muscles are tuned to perfection. I rapidly twist and turn my torso, even though it should have been impossible for me to change the trajectory of my descent. I managed to somehow do it after calculating the angle of his weapon. The metallic object narrowly skims the air behind me, or beside me. My 0% gamble pays off, and I manage to avert certain death. Only 1 second before I land. It's my victory. He's out of moves. Both obstacles are determined in the span of a second each. Now I have to kill him before my insides are pulverized by the impact of the fall. I don't care what will happen to me afterwards. In this moment, all of my focus is on piercing his line. But if he were to have one more move up his sleeve, something outside my predictions... No, there's no time to think. No time to avoid it. Even if I could change my trajectory at this juncture, I wouldn't waste my time on it. The time for thinking is over. If I'm going to die, that was decided the second I started my descent. This is fine. My brain just be skewered by ice here. I doubt I'd even register it. Second obstacle. Negative 100-degree temperature that defies the laws of nature and stops the human body in its tracks. My impulse to brace for a landing and my concerns for the sanctity of life are left behind in the skies above. Wait a sec. That was not Shiki's knife that did not look like Shiki's knife that cut through the icicles. Kinetic energy courses from my thighs through to my hips, from my hips up to my back, and from there to my right hand as I swing the knife down. Now that the motion has been set into action, there's no way of stopping it. I'm a killing machine fueled by inertia. All my brain needs to do is locate the lines. Center of it all, I see a light. A vortex of swirling atoms, the certainty of life's eventual end. A place of pure death that pulls everything inside like a black hole. My brain may have cast out all rational thought, but still comprehends what it's seeing through its sheer instinct. If the lines are what brings death to life, then this core brings death to the core, to the origin of its existence. The end of the universe, where any creature, be they monster or immortal, can be killed with a simple stab. Can't say I care much for this sudden revelation. My entire body trembles with emotions that run much deeper. Having used his lance already, Vlov unsheaths his machete. Realizing my aim, the vampire readies for another counterattack. It's his final move in this game against an underhanded opponent like myself. This man is the real deal. A shining example of his kind. I don't know or care. I don't know or care where that bar is set for vampires, but he's a killer through and through. I can't help but despise him. What he was saying before he was a vampire, I'm sure he was a knight worthy of envy. Even if not a shadow of that man remains. But he will never get the chance to bring his blade against me. I turn, dodge, then twist. My eyes trace his core. In an instant, the surrounding temperature returns to normal. The cold wave disappears alongside its master's life force, but the man still remains upright at the center of it all. It's death. Dazed, the vampire speaks to himself.
この傷は知らない。この喪失は思い出せない。この言語化できない大気の肌触りは いつか失った何者かだ。
I don't know what he's saying. I don't even know the language he speaks. His tone is gentle, like that of a poet extolling spring.
痛みも寒波も感じない。恐ろしいが懐かしい。これではまるで僕は死人になったようだ。
My body drops backwards onto the ground. While my heart and lungs cry for joy as finally, at long last, I begin breathing normally once again. Can't move either arm. Can't even tell whether I'm still holding my knife. All I can be sure of is the throbbing in my body, my rapidly fading consciousness. It's a blessing in disguise. My pain has overtaken my numbness. Yeah, Shiki's absolutely insane gamble pays off. It feels like the bones in my left leg, which I landed on while falling, were carved with a saw. Normally the pain would have me seeing stars, but right now I can't feel a thing.
でもくそ
Miserable words pass my lips even though I will them not to. I don't get any joy from having survived. I don't even feel pride in having done some great feat. It wasn't a miracle. It was nothing. After all was said and done, I just charged at him with every emotion I possessed. Solitary crescent moon sits high in the night sky. How odd. It feels familiar somehow, like I saw something just like it in a dream once.
大丈夫シキ？
No, I'm not okay, Arcoade. I'm in immense physical agony. Arcoade strolls over as if nothing had happened.
生きては
I feel more dead than alive, though. Even talking hurts. But you're not going to hear me make petty complaints while I'm still alive.
もうそんな謙遜しちゃって。新参とはいえ、シキはその一人を殺したのよ。もっと胸を張ってもいいのに。
Arcoade seems to be happy on my behalf. Even I know that killing Vlov was a significant accomplishment. And yet... it's not like I actually did anything. As I said, I already decimated the city. The body count will likely eclipse the massacre of the hotel by hundreds, if not thousands. This is all my fault. I let it happen again.
死んでないよ。ブローブの呪いなら全部私が防いでおいたんだし。
No one died?
どういうことだそれ
I try to fling my body upright, but my left leg screams from the motion. I find myself still on the ground, wincing in pain.
ほらほら、ちゃんと横になってないと。
それより今の説明してくれ
So wait, did she restrain a huge amount of her power? Or did she use a huge amount of her remaining power to make sure no one got killed by Vlov's attacks?
死んでないって本当に
ええ、ブローブの原理が暴走した時、できる範囲を対流膜でコーティングしておいたの。シキがブローブを殺すのがあとちょっと遅かったらフォローできなかっただろうけど。
Arcade casually admits having done something insanely overpowered. My mind flashes back to the fight. Arcade had paused abruptly before she was hit by his lance. Does that mean she didn't do that to protect herself, but to protect the entire city? Come to think of it, it's kind of strange that I survived the initial blast of ice at all. Yeah, Arcade is insanely overpowered. Even while extremely horrifically weakened, she's able to contain a blast of ice that is outright stated to be like very close to absolute zero. Yet I was able to keep breathing even in those Arctic conditions. Arcade must have ensured the rest of the town was able to do the same. That's a bit. That happened. This entire time I was only thinking about myself. Meanwhile, she was selflessly protecting the city, even when she knew it would leave her at a disadvantage.
なんでお前人間なんかどうでもいいって言ってたじゃないか
Strange wave of anger washes over me as I shout at the space case standing next to me. Arcade raises her brow curiously.
だってシキがそうしてほしいって言ったんだもん。
I said something that yeah. Seriously? When, where? Don't tell me she did it because...
なんかお前は別ならいい。吸血鬼だろうとなんだろうと俺たちに手を出さないでいてくれるならそれ。
I can't believe it. As long as you don't lay a hand on humans. She followed that? Even though she might have lost her life in the process if anything had gone wrong. I laugh at the bizarre reality of it all. If anything, I'm more dumbfounded than ever. More than that, I'm incredibly grateful. I close my eyes. What she says is true, then I suppose it's fine for me to rest now. My chest, which had been filled with nothing but regret, is now overcome with relief. My consciousness starts to fade away. I forget all about the pain in my leg as I slip into a deep, dreamless slumber. At least, I tried to. Arkui... She needs to keep him alive. Oh, she needs to keep him awake in order to make sure he stays alive. But Arkui hits me over the head with a loud whack, forcefully pulling my awareness back to the land of the living.
何のつもりだ。
ダメ。そんな傷で眠っちゃったら起きてから余計苦しいでしょ。眠るのは傷を塞いでから。その方が効率的よ。
I love her. She's great. She's right about that. Who's the one who told her that in the first place?
けど本気で忠告していいか。
何？
あのな。
Stop asking for the impossible, you idiot. This is the end. With that, I burned through my very last reserves of strength. My consciousness is already in a distant place. I can hear Arkwood making some big fuss at the back of my mind, but I no longer have the energy to open my eyes.
ちょっとシキ、本当に眠っちゃうの？
Yeah, because I'm tired. Tired enough to drop dead right on the spot. I'll wake up again tomorrow, I
本
promise.
当に本当？それきっと痛いよ。治さなくていいの？起きたら間違いなく失神するよ。
Nah, Shiki's he's gonna survive somehow. Arkwood's gonna find some way to keep him from dying. It's so loud. I'm going to sleep so you can do whatever you want.
そういうことなら早く言ってくれればよかったのに。
She sounds bright and cheery. Tender fingertips feel cool against my already ice-cold skin. It's nice. Soothing. The light replaces the fatigue inside me.
戦利品？っていうか、その死骸？まあいっか。ちょうどどこに捨てようか困ってたものがあったんだ。
Wait, is she gonna do like some sort of weird blood transfusion to keep Shiki from dying? What was that squelching noise?
何今の感触。なんか塗ったのか今。うわ、いたた。痛覚戻ってきてる。めっちゃ痛い。いや、かゆい。つか怖い。お前一体。
Just as I'm about to lay into her, I'm suddenly hit with a tremendous sense of emptiness. Perhaps my shouting burned through my last supply of fuel. This time I know I'll fall into an uncontestable slumber.
大丈夫。悪いものじゃないわ。そげた肉の分だけならこれで塞がるわ。
A poultice made of Vlov.
でも骨ばっかりはちょっと無理かな。後でちゃんと人間の医者にかかりなさい。
Her cold fingertips part from my skin.
眠っちゃった？シキ。
Yeah, I am. It's been a while since I've slept so soundly without a whiff of fear.
しょうがないな。シキの家って坂の上の屋敷でしょ。なんとか送り届けてあげる。
In my sleep, I only see the
お
white
疲れ
moon.
様シキ。それとありがとう。今夜はあなたのおかげで助かっちゃった。
Words of gratitude float about weightlessly. Can't hear her voice anymore. Finally, without anything to intervene, I fall into the deepest of sleeps. Oh yeah, no, that's what I was. Oh yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Like, I was thinking like last, last chapter and earlier in this chapter that that Akiha is going to be so mad. A few hours after the blaze outside the station, while the fire raged, firefighters on the scene reported it would take 2 full days to put it out. However, around midnight, the fire died down and was fully extinguished soon after. An officer dispatched to the location said it was as if a living creature had decided to up and leave.
国道305までの交通規制は明朝5時までに解除。高速道路は先ほど規制を解除したとのことです。こちらも現場に残っていた使途の痕跡処理を完了しました。警視庁に向かわれますか、マリオ様。
行きたかねえが仕方ねえ。この規模の騒ぎはうちでもそうはねえからな。ジジイの名前だけじゃ収まりはつかねえだろう。俺も出向いて誠意ってもんを見せないとな。
では私も同行いたします。現場の指揮は例の代行者に委任しますか。
ああ、なぜか潜入捜査してたあいつらか。ツーマンセルなんだよな。下っ端の方は俺のホテルに呼びつけて待機させとけ。使い道があれば使う。あっちの方はできるだけ早く本国に帰らせろ。セオナトールをつっつけばすぐに動く。
かしこまりました。ノイ司祭にラウレンティス様の名義で抗議文をお送りします。
ああ、ここでの仕事は大体終わった。現場の後処理は誰にやらせてもいいんだが。おいアンド、
お呼びですか、坊ちゃん。いやー、着任早々ついてないっすね。こんなんガス爆発でごまかすとか無理ですわ。どっかの手組織に声明でも出してもらえます？
そっちはいらねえ。対外的な処理はここの持ち主に押し付ける。叩けば埃が出そうだからな。俺たちの仕事はここにあるとまずいものの回収だ。使途の痕跡はあらかた拭ったが、被害者の処理にまだ不満がある。お前やっとけ。
了解。って待って待って。坊ちゃんがいつも連れてる大部隊、まだ入国してませんよね。もしかして俺だけで遺体を全部チェックして噛まれたかもしれないなりかけを見つけ出せと？
見つけ出すだけじゃねえぞ。生きているなら教会に送れ。死んでいるならもう一度殺してやれ。
If they're alive, you'll have to send them to the church. If they're dead, then kill them again.
そういう。
急げ。遺体の安置所には人払いをさせておく。
動かない標的に引き金を引くだけのお仕事ですし、精神的な負担を無視すればの話ですけどね。
車を回せカリウス。お役所回りを始めるぞ。
はい、すぐに。その他手配は必要ですか。この規模の汚染であれば応援の要請。
その必要はねえ。つうか絶対知らせるな。この件はここだけで片付ける。しばらくは情報収集だ。これでも正義の味方だからな。いたずらに犠牲は増やせない。誰が敵で誰が邪魔者か、きっちり当たりをつけなくちゃな。
And now for something completely different. Okay, that's the end of chapter 5. Oh, hey! Officially confirmed to be on Arcuade's route. Okay, yeah, that is going to be it for tonight. Because... Okay, that was absolutely sick. That was sick. Yeah, that was absolutely sick. But that is also going to be it for tonight. Okay, to be fair, I think they're the ones that set up the roadblock and set up the roadblocks and were working to try to get people out. Like, from the sound of it, the church didn't really have enough manpower in the area to really be able to send people in to deal with it quickly. So they just pretty much did as much as they could. But yeah, that was absolutely sick. I'm okay. Next time we're going to be seeing the fallout from Shiki being not just gone from home for 2 days or for 2 days straight, but also not at school for 2 days. I'm wondering how Akia is going to rip him to pieces. Oh yeah. Yeah, I do actually like how it actually does give you like a little indicator of what route you're on. That's pretty nice. But yeah, that's going to be... Oh yeah, it's only been... Everything that just happened has been over the course of like, okay, 2.5 days. Shinki killed Arcuade in the afternoon of one day. The next day he meets her again. They have their little initial confrontation, and then the hotel, and then they go to the hotel. Early in the next morning, they have the first confrontation with Vlov, and then later that night, we had this fight. So it has been only about 2.5 days. But yeah, okay. I love it. I love this game. I love it. It's so much more like bloody and gory than Mahoyo, but it's still just it is so good. It is so good. I love it. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. Yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. We're going to be streaming again. The next stream is going to be on Wednesday, and it'll just be it'll just be a pretty relaxed Minecraft stream. We're gonna do more Tsukihime next Monday. Actually, I might redo the schedule a bit. I might redo the schedule a little bit because I want to continue. I am hooked on this game. Yeah, I might redo the schedule a bit just so... Yeah, I might redo the schedule a bit just so I can play more Tsukihime. I am loving this. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming, and I'll see you next time. Take care.